Hey YouTube viewers, my wife and I have picked up some of these new AirPod Pros. We were early adopters and got the AirPods Original. The battery life on my wife's AirPods are a little bit low at this point. She says she can listen to them for about half an hour and then they start to die on her, so she has to charge them in the case. My AirPods are still pretty decent. I get about an hour and a half listening on them. Pretty happy with those, but we love our latest technology. So we went ahead and we purchased these AirPod Pros. We wanted to get a wireless charging case, and these guys come with a wireless charging case, so we're super excited about that. Let's go ahead and open up the boxes. So they have a nice little tab on the right-hand side that you're able to tear off. And these guys, one of the first products we've gotten engraved. So we got a little bit engraved on the case. And see what these look like when we open them up. We've got our standard designed by Apple in California. Those pull off nicely. And on the right-hand side, we have the his AirPods Pro. And on the left-hand side, we've got the hers. The reason I know they're his and hers, I should have had them just say his and hers, but they actually say handsome and beautiful on them. So that's how we're gonna tell our AirPod cases apart. In the past, my wife had a sticker on her AirPod case. I figured this would be a nice, easy way to compare them to each other. So first impressions as I open this up, I have read about these online. I understood that they were a little bit bigger than the current AirPod case. So here we have, they're definitely a little bit larger, not super large. This one has picked up the coloring from my jeans quite well. So it's got a little bit of blue on it, but they still both flip open. And let's see here, what else is in the box? I pull this up right here. These are some rubber tips. I believe these are small and large rubber tips. Inside here, they already have medium rubber tips already on them. And then it comes with a USB-C to Lightning power cord. So you want to have, charge these from your latest MacBook, plug directly into USB-C, or ideally you have a USB-C charger around. I don't believe it comes with a plug-in. The original AirPods did not come with a little power adapter either. Let's open this guy up. And with these new AirPods, because they are the first ones to use these rubber tips, Apple has some software that you can use to determine, does the tip actually fit your ear? It does some sound sampling while they're in your ear and tells you, hey, use the smaller, larger, medium. And I've actually saw online, some people found that on their left ear, they needed a medium, and on their right ear, they needed a large. And so it actually tells you the right fit for your ear, which is really nice. The AirPod Pros also have a vent. Let's pull this out. My understanding is they have a vent so that while they're in your ear, they still allow the air pressure to equalize, so you don't get that really cloggy sound. I've used some noise canceling headphones before, and it sort of sounds like just muffled out the world. This is supposed to counteract that with a built-in vent. They are much smaller in length than the original AirPods. So you can see much smaller in length, a little bit beefier on the actual head part here. But overall, really nice design, definitely less like a rod sticking out of your ear. It looks like it's just gonna be much smaller there once it's in your ear. To connect it to my phone, let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'm gonna put these back in the case. That's weird, like trying to figure out how that went in for some reason. So if I bring my iPhone over, just a little big. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring my iPod. I'm just gonna set this out of frame. Take my wife's out of frame here for a second. And I wanna connect this set to this device. To do so, I just have to open them up while they're nearby. It immediately shows up AirPods Pro and asks me if I want to connect this. So I tap connect, and it's giving me a little walkthrough about it. So media control, they tell me to, oh, I missed that, press once. So it's actually now that I've closed it, I think that walkthrough's gone. They were walking me through how to use them. These are pressure sensitive, so if you press on them, it actually starts to control the AirPods. So pressure sensitivity to that. I believe it also has tapping. I don't know how to get that little walkthrough back on screen. So if we look in here, my hope is that they'll have the same sort of instructions. We've got how to connect, just make sure your Bluetooth is on and bring it close by. And then on the back here, press to play or pause, double press to skip forward, triple press to skip back. You're actually able to activate Hey Siri just by saying Hey Siri. There's no need to touch the AirPods to bring up Siri anymore, which we're super excited about. And then you also are able to do, press and hold lets you turn on active noise cancellation, and then pressing and holding again turns on transparency mode. Transparency mode is for if you're running or biking or walking outside and you want to make sure you can hear the stuff around you. You just turn on transparency mode and it uses that vent and brings in the outside sound, but also lets you listen to your music very nicely. Talks a little bit about changing your ear tips and then charging wirelessly. So we recently picked up some of these Nomad charging pads. So one of the nice things here is I should be able to just set that right on there. You can see the orange light indicates that it's charging. If I pull that off, no more charge. So I can set that there. Take my iPhone, set it there. So my iPhone's now charging. All right, so we probably cut out a little bit of that because one of the construction trucks outside started backing up, so there was a lot of noise. While that was going, I went ahead and played around with this, trying to see when can you tell if these are charging on a wireless mat. So when you take it off, the LED on the case is not on. You put it on and it sits there and it turns on for a moment. On the very back side of this charger, actually the front of this charger, I can see the orange light turns on as well. The LEDs on the case don't stay on. So it's still charging, but it's just not showing me that it's charging. So that's a little bit of feedback there that, I'm not seeing it charge on the case. Okay, so as I'm trying to set these up, the first thing I thought, maybe in the instructions they would tell me how to set up my ears, I guess. Set up the rubber piece so that they fit my ears. So I looked through this and I don't actually see any instructions on where to go on my device. So then I was thinking about it, and when I say I was thinking about it, I was asking my wife where I might go. And we discussed potentially going to settings here and then choosing the AirPods in here. And maybe that's where we have to set up the rubber sizing. So if I touch the eye on there, there's a forget this device. It's currently trying to connect to my AirPod Pros. Open up my AirPods Pro, see if those connect this time. And they are connected this time. So now that they're connected, if I go into eye, inside here, I can turn on noise cancellation, transparency mode, or turn that off altogether. I can also change what the press and hold does on each side of the AirPod. So noise control, noise cancellation, what they cycle between. And then there's an ear tip fit test and an automatic ear detection. So automatically transfer the audio from connected devices to the AirPods when they're placed in. Yes, I do want that to happen automatically. And always left AirPod. Oh, so this talks about which microphone it should use while it's recording, or not recording, but speaking on, say, a phone call. And it automatically chooses whichever AirPod is going to be the best one. So maybe you only have your left AirPod in, then it will make sure to use that microphone versus say your right. So automatically choosing, that's good to me. All right, tip fit test. That's hard to say quickly. This guy goes in my right ear, so I'll go ahead and put that in. And I put that one in my left ear. And as soon as I put them on, I start to get that little bit of muffled sound already. So let's do this ear tip fit test. It tells me for best acoustic performance, they're going to tell me if I have a nice, good seal on my ears. And then they'll set up noise cancellation for me. They ask me to place both AirPods in my ears and then press play. They're actually playing music right now and asking me not to remove it. So they say that I have a good seal with the medium size. And if I hit done, they're happy. That was all it was. Let me go ahead and try one of those. I'm gonna put the small on my left ear. So here I've taken the rubber piece off. These are always so weird. You just sort of pull. I hope I don't tear anything. To remove the ear tip, pull firmly. And it actually, so I was trying to pull it like this. That doesn't, you don't want to pull like that. I think maybe I don't want to switch these out. Let me look at one of these and see how it connects. So it looks like there's really just a small ridge down at the bottom. All right, so I just looked up online and somebody says just don't be shy, you won't break them. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it. Yeah, sure enough, nothing tore on the tip. And I just had to give it a nice good pull. That is not something I would feel comfortable doing frequently. So let me put that medium aside, bring a small one over. Attaching it, much easier. I just pushed it on and it clicked right away. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these both in my ear now. You can see how much smaller, well, maybe you can see in the video, how much smaller the small is than the medium. Let me try that in my ear. I immediately feel like the right one is a little bit tighter than the left, but let's go ahead and try the tip fit test. Again, they're playing some music, and it actually tells me I'm a good seal on both of them. So I guess both of these work for me. So I'll say done. And now I just guess I have to feel which one I like better because they both fit. And I actually might like the small better. It doesn't feel like it's clogging my ear as much. So with that in mind, let's pull that right off. Really does not feel super like I want to tear it. You know, it just feels really tight. Snap that one on, snaps on nice and easily. So now I've got the small tip in there. When I put it in, I feel like it fits better in my ear. It's not so full. So let me go ahead and do a test. And it says I have a good seal on both of these. One thing that I want to test is what does a bad fit look like? So I'm going to actually loosen it in my right ear real quick. I can feel right now that it's not sitting right, but I'm going to do a test. Hit play. So they're playing the music again, and this time they tell me that I need to either adjust it or try a different ear tip. So if I adjust it and hit play, then it tells me I've got a good seal on both. So if you try one out and it doesn't seem to be fitting right, you may just need to adjust it a little bit. Otherwise, you might actually have to go and try a different size ear tip. Another thing that I decided that I wanted to play with here was not listening to any music right now. They're just in my ear. And I've got transparency mode turned on right now. So how does that sound? And I'm just sort of listening to myself through my ears, and I can hear some of my surroundings right now. I can hear a little bit of outside. If I turn them off, right now I have transparency mode off, and this actually to me now sounds like I'm speaking very muffled. So I think that transparency actually even allows my own voice to come in through my ears, and I sound a little bit more natural. So now I've turned transparency on, and it actually does sound almost like I'm being broadcast into my ears. So it sounds like they're playing a little bit through the speakers in the AirPods. And then if I go into noise cancellation, so right now I'm in noise cancellation. I have a little bit of that muffled sound as I speak, but sound-wise, I really don't hear anything going on around me. So I know that there's some noise from the street outside my house. I would say I hear it a little bit if I adjust my left ear. Now that I adjusted my left ear, I actually don't really hear any sound around me at all. Go back into transparency mode. Now I can hear the sound of the street outside. In the off mode, I honestly this does not sound super amazing to me. It sounds muffled. I can still hear the stuff outside, but it just sounds muddled almost. So, but noise cancellation, this is doing a really good job. All right, so that's fun. And then of course, the next thing I have to do is go on a run, play with these, and try some music out. I'd love to try the Hey Siri, so let's try that real quick. Hey Siri, what time is it? Interestingly, it showed up on my phone, and it also spoke through my AirPods just now, so that was nice. I imagine if my phone was not open and maybe in my pocket, so I just put my phone away, and then I say, Hey Siri, what time is it? It spoke very nicely into my ear. It sounds really clear. And I'm happy with that. I like because I'll be able to run ideally. And before, even while running, I didn't like going up and trying to touch the AirPods in order to activate Siri. All right, guys, thank you so much. That was a quick unboxing. I'll use them for a couple days and see if I have any feedback. Maybe I'll leave those in the comments as you guys ask some questions. Thank you so much.